Okay, so there's been another supply chain attack. This time, TJ Actions changed files was compromised. We're going to get into exactly what took place, what the attackers did, and what you should do. In this video, I'm just going to get straight into it. So I have a blog post that I'm going to be looking at and going through here. There's a link to it down in the video descriptions if you want to get some more information. But here's a TLDR. The GitHub Action, TJ Actions change file, it's a very simple GitHub Actions. Essentially, it's just designed to retrieve all added, copied, modified, deleted, etc. files and directories within your repositories. It's used by over 23,000 repositories and it was compromised. The attackers in this case were targeting secrets, specifically secrets that are being used in the workflow. What is critical here is that all tagged versions were modified. This makes tag-based pinning unsafe, and what that means is that it doesn't matter if you're using older versions or not the latest version, you all share the same risk in this. Public repositories were the highest risk here. That is due to how the attackers was viewing the secrets that they were essentially stealing. However, if you're being affected and you're using only private repositories, I would say follow the same steps because someone sneaky has still been in your GitHub Actions, and I think it's best to err on the side of caution and security. So what should you do as you're affected? Well, the immediate steps are this. Identify if it affects you. Identify if you have reference to the TJ Actions changed files anywhere in your code repository. If so, make sure that you rotate all secrets that touched your GitHub Actions workflow. And finally, I would remove this GitHub Action workflow. Now, officially, it's been fixed. The malicious commits have been removed, and it isn't posing any threat anymore. However, because we're dealing with compromised accounts, I would err on the side of caution and remove this anyway, change it for an alternative. So how do you find out if this affects you? Well, basically, the easiest thing to do is search for TJ Actions in your code base. There's a nice query here that'll help you do it. If you're using a security tool, for example, Aikido security, hopefully there are rules built for this. For example, in this case, I can see it's identified that I'm using TJ Actions in my repositories. It's identified it and let me know so that I'm aware of it. So what actually happened? So let's get into the nitty gritty. What actually happened? The action was compromised March 14. And even from that date, people were suspicious about what was actually going on in that commit. We can see here that a GitHub issue was filed, basically saying that something fishy is potentially going on. And this is because it has some base 64 encoded content in here, which is a dead giveaway when attackers are trying to obfuscate something. And here we can see it uncoded, and we can see that it's calling on this memory dump Python file, and it's also searching for secrets. We can see this grep value here. So, and it's changing the value of is secret true. So we can see that it's running this script and then grepping for secrets. So this is definitely very dodgy and definitely out of the ordinary. Now we can actually see that this is the account that was taken over. It was taken over from a compromised GitHub token. And this is essentially how it worked. GitHub Actions ran, and it ran the TJ Actions workflow. Downloaded the compromised script that we just saw. It executed that, searching for secrets via grep, and then it double encoded the secrets using base 64 to really double obfuscate it. And here's what's critical. It then printed the results in the workflows log, and then the attacker then accessed that workflow log. This is why public repositories were so much more affected, because that workflow log is public for public repositories. This actually stayed in effect till March 15th, so the malicious script was actually then removed because it was hosted on GitHub Gist, and the compromised repository was briefly taken offline, right? And it's back online now. And here's something else just to keep in mind, that while the immediate threat has been addressed, cased version of compromised accounts could still pose a risk. So we've already discussed here kind of the impact of it, and I think it's very easy to talk about the impact of public repositories. I've said multiple times that if you have a private repository, please still rotate your secrets. You may be wondering, what's the risk of that? Well, it means that you have secrets inside your GitHub accounts, inside your logs. And this is extremely poor practice. Secrets, when they leak, they're impossible to get control of because you have no idea where they've sprawled to. So just the fact that you have secrets that are publicly accessible, even just to members of your team, they are going to sprawl into lots of different places. The best course of action is to absolutely rotate all these secrets. If you want to protect your applications and your workflows and things like your secrets from leaking, then make sure you check out Aikido Security. It's free to try, and we immediately were able to write a rule to identify this and present the risks that anyone has inside their repositories. I hope you found this video interesting. Check out the blog article in the comments below, and I'll see you on the next time.